welcome back to the Football Down. We're back with another match preview, the last match preview of 2024, as Stockport County look to take on Birmingham City at Edgeley Park on New Year's Day. Obviously excited to get into 2025 with Stockport County, but it's kind of sad, I suppose, to sort of close the door on 2024. It's been a fantastic year for Stockport County, and of course it also has been for this channel as well. I think it's, grown on leaps and bounds. I think that's the phrase anyway. This season, or last season I suppose, with the success of going up as champions of League 2, being in League 1, finishing the year of 2024, being 5th in the table as well. It's been great. If someone said to me at this point in the season, the halfway point going into 2025, you'd still be in the playoff positions, I'd bite your hand off at that. I think most county supporters would as well. Obviously, you can probably sense it in my voice a little bit of a cold still, powering through it. I've had the lemsips out. I'm attacking this, and hopefully Stockport County will be attacking Birmingham on New Year's Day. I think there's people a lot worse off than me. I listened to Dave Chalner after the game as well, and his post-match interview, and he sounded pretty rough as well. So it's going around at the moment, isn't it? And people are not particularly feeling that well. Let's get into it. I just want to say as well, this is typically done on YouTube, but there may be people possibly out there listening to this on Spotify for the first time as well, as that's something we've started on the channel. So if you are interested in maybe listening to it through Spotify, you will find the link to that in the description below as always. So let's get into it then. Stockport County against Birmingham City. But before we do that, let's just have a quick look at the results that happened yesterday in League 1, of course. Up on the screen now, Charlton Athletic with that 2-1 win over Wycombe Wanderers, a shock win, many would say. Rotherham United, of course, with that 1-1 draw with Stockport County. Birmingham City held by Blackpool in a 0-0 draw. Bolton Wanderers with a 3-0 win over Lincoln City at home. A lot of goals in this game. Exeter City 4, Crawley Town 4. Huddersfield Town being held by Burton Albion just days after beating Stockport County on Boxing Day. Leyton Orient with that 2-0 win over Cambridge United. Peterborough United beaten 3-1 by Barnsley. Reading getting that 2-1 win over Mansfield Town. Not a great result for Stockport County. Shrewsbury Town drawing level with Northampton Town. Stevenage with a 3-0 win over Bristol Rovers. And finally Wrexham with that 2-1 win at the racecourse over Wigan Athletic. This is how the table now takes shape then. Wrexham have gone into second. Huddersfield and Stockport County still maintain those positions as they did on Boxing Day in 4th and 5th. Reading in that final playoff position, still just behind Stockport County on goals difference, but are now on similar points, the same amount of points rather, on 37. Another big shock in the top half of the table as well is the appearance of Leyton Orient in 10th. I think I'm pretty sure it's the first time they've made it to the top half of the table all season, certainly since the season really got going anyway. If we have a quick look at the bottom half of the table as well, Exeter City in 13th, just 2 points ahead of Stevenage in 14th. Blackpool dropping down as well, 15th now in the table, 28 points for them. Wigan Athletic, Rotherham and Peterborough on 27 points for Wigan and 24 points each for Rotherham and Peterborough so far this season. It's not been a strong season for Rotherham, I think it's fair to say. It's Peterborough United, for a team that can score a lot of goals, seems to be falling down that table awfully quickly at this point in time. Northampton Town and Bristol Rovers sit just above the drop zone on 22 points, just 2 points safe from relegation, as that bottom four continues to go unchanged with Crawley Town, Cambridge United, Shrewsbury Town and Burton Albion in that final relegation spot, sat 24th in the table. So they were the final results of 2024 in League 1. Now we welcome the fixtures on the opening day of 2025, where you can see Barnsley take on Wrexham, Blackpool will host Shrewsbury Town, Bristol Rovers against Leyton Orient, Burton Albion looking to get points again against Peterborough United, Cambridge United looking to get something over Reading, Crawley Town will host Charlton Athletic, Lincoln City will be looking to bounce back with a win at home against Rotherham United, Mansfield Town against Bolton Wanderers, looks like a good game on paper that one, Northampton Town will take on Stevenage, Stockport County of course will host Birmingham City, Wigan Athletic versus Huddersfield Town, and finally Wycombe Wanderers against Exeter City. I must just point out that all these games are available on Sky Sports Plus. So finally we can get into the match preview then, of course, as Stockport County look to take on Birmingham City for the second time this season. We're at a point in the season now, County have played everyone already once now, and we can move on and play someone that we haven't played for a while, you'd think, but then that isn't the case, is it? Because we've got Birmingham City up next, and that's a team that we faced just short of a month ago in early December. Well, since then, it's been pretty plain sailing for Birmingham as well. Obviously, since Birmingham City beat Stockport County at the beginning of December, they've actually enjoyed and continued their unbeaten run with league wins over Barnsley, Bristol Rovers, Crawley Town and Burton Albion before being held to a goalless draw with Blackpool yesterday. It's actually the first time the Blues have failed to score in the league since their 1-0 defeat to Charlton back in October. Their form since that win over Stockport County has seen them go back to the top spot of the table in recent weeks. Jay Stansfield, unsurprisingly, is Birmingham's top goal scorer in League One so far this season with 12 league goals from 16 matches. That's just 3 goals short of County's Louis Barry, who of course will hopefully play his final county game on New Year's Day against Birmingham City. Of course, that rivalry that exists between Aston Villa and Birmingham, he'll be eager to play against Birmingham, and I'm pretty sure Birmingham City will be eager to, basically have a good performance against him and hopefully stop him from being able to do anything, which is basically what happened in the first game. We look at it, and I think last time we played Birmingham, I know it was away from home, but I think we saw the gap in quality. We saw why Birmingham were pretty much going to be in the Championship again next season. You'd think they were just levels ahead, and the best team won on the day. I think that County they didn't really know how to deal with Birmingham. I felt that I'm trying to think back now. It does feel like a long time ago with so many games packed together, but they were the better team on the day. It was disappointing that we couldn't get the result or the performance that we were all wanting against Birmingham, but it was a great stadium to go to. As I say, County just struggled massively in that game, struggled to get a foothold in it, and hopefully we will see a better performance on New Year's Day. But it's going to be difficult. Look, Birmingham are the top of the table for a reason. There's a reason why they came down, yes, but they've invested heavily, and I think there's even the potential they could do that in January as well. So they'll be a very, very tough outfit to stop this season, and they've already put us aside very, very easily actually already once this season. I'd hate to see it happen again, but stranger things have happened, that's for sure. As I say, County in this game, I'm not fancying our chances, to be honest. I want to be positive. I never predict a team I never predict Stockport County to lose games going into them, but it just doesn't feel like County have really managed to get going for a while now, actually, since that sort of winning period against sort of Bolton, Wrexham, Burton Albion. It feels like since then we've really started to struggle. I know we have won games in between those since. I think back to sort of the win over Exeter, the win over Peterborough as well, but they're few and far between really, and even in those, I don't think they were fantastic performances from County. It's been a little bit of a bad patch actually as well, particularly with the away performances. Obviously, luckily for us, it's back on home soil, where our last win came on home soil against Peterborough just before Christmas. But as I say, it's going to be tough. We haven't looked great recently against Huddersfield. We probably could have got a result from it, to be fair, but I don't think we were fantastic. I said it yesterday as well at the end of the match vlog. We weren't our scintillating best, I think that's fair to say, but we probably did deserve something, a bit more than a point against Rotherham, to be fair to them. But as I say, it's not like we played particularly that great ourselves. And again, as well, you can play better than the other team, but it's about taking your chances. And it's all about making them, but you've got to take them. And I felt that in the game yesterday, County were strong for 20, 30 minutes, maybe the first part of the second half, but you've got to capitalise on that. You've got to score those goals. When you're strong, you've got to take advantage. And County just didn't do that yesterday. And I kind of felt like the goal went in so quickly on Boxing Day, Huddersfield away. I think it kind of affected both teams in terms of how they set up for the game. How do you change from that? And I do feel that County probably could have got something from that Huddersfield game, but at the end of the day, they edged it, and you can't really have too many complaints. But it's frustrating because I don't think Huddersfield played at their absolute best. I thought they did enough to deserve to beat us, but I feel like if County got to rose to the levels that I know that they're capable of, we could have got something from those games. And as I say, it's disappointing going into this one now as well as the next game. It's the toughest game in the season against Birmingham. What I would say as well, just before I move on from that, Steve Evans, the Rotherham manager, said I think post-match yesterday that actually he felt that County were the toughest team to go to Rotherham all season apart from Birmingham. So I thought that was an interesting comment from Steve Evans. Not particularly well liked, I think it's fair to say, by a lot of football fans, but I thought it was an interesting opinion from him on that. How honest was he being? I'm not too sure about that, but yeah, as I say, we probably could have got something from that. Probably should have got a bit more from that than a point yesterday. But we move on. Look, we got Birmingham next year, I suppose, is one way of looking at it. But in all seriousness, it's a big game. It is New Year's Day, and what you're hoping is they've not gone out on a drink before, night before, because and look, footballers probably shouldn't be doing that. But the way that we started the game against Huddersfield, it looked like we'd have too much for Christmas dinner. So hopefully we're not on it tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. So that sort of thing shouldn't be happening. But you never know in football. You never know. Hopefully our players are up for it. We've got to start well. I know that sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but the Huddersfield game we didn't start well. We found ourselves 1-0 down within less than a minute. It felt like the game against Rotherham we started okay. We got the goal early on, but they responded pretty quickly as well. And whilst they didn't have much in the game, Rotherham, once they did get that goal, it kind of rattled us a little bit. We kind of lost focus. We kind of lost our rhythm. We never seemed to really get that back until maybe the sort of second half. And as I say, we didn't take chances even when we were creating them in that second half. So I'm interested to see how we approach the game. I think it's going to be a tough one. A lot of injuries as well coming in now, creeping in. And this game would have been a tough enough game as it is. But now you're seeing Louis Barry going back after this game. Is he even going to play this game? As I say, Louis Spate missed the game against Rotherham. Now we're saying that could be a period of time as well. Callum Camps was ill. We're not sure who's going to be back. We're not sure who's the players that were injured or came off against Rotherham. How serious are those? We don't know. So it could be a very, very depleted squad going into this game on New Year's Day. And that makes it 10 times more tougher than it already was. And it was already the toughest game in the season for us, bar maybe Crystal Palace in the Cup. But, it's just one of them things, isn't it? It's just typical. And what I would say is we had an injury crisis last season. We found a way through it. We still finished as champions. So I think we'll find a way out of this. Let's talk about the team news. Let's talk about the injury updates because, as you guys know, I always do a predicted 11 and then what I would pick. And this has been a bloody awful thing to try and do today because I'm listening to Chow on a post-match. He's saying this player's out, he's going to be out for this long. This player I'm not too sure about. And you're thinking, who are we going to actually bloody play? That's the question. So Louis Spate, this is what he had to say. Certainly won't be back in the short term. That was his quote. I've quoted that. He said initial diagnosis 3 to 4 weeks. Well, Louis Spate has been one of our most important players this season. Probably our most important behind Louis Barry. So if he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, that could be a tough one. The only thing I would say actually in the game against Rotherham yesterday, what I did notice, in the absence of Louis Spate, I actually felt we did take less touches going forward, and that in some ways did make us look a little bit better going forward. I want to see if anyone agrees with me on that, but in some parts of the game yesterday, I actually felt we looked better going forward without Louis Spate. But of course, he's still a key player. He holds the ball well. Against a team like Birmingham, where you'll be lucky to have much of the ball, you've got to keep it well when you do get it. I think we're going to miss that aspect of the game with him, and not just Birmingham. That means he misses the cup game as well, doesn't it, against Crystal Palace? So massively disappointed on that one. Callum Camps, illness related. Shona says that Camps was ill before Christmas, and once again post-match versus Huddersfield. Hopeful for Birmingham though. That's what I'm saying. Too much for Christmas dinner. Hopefully he'll be back. He's got to be back. It's almost got to be a case of Chowan will be there picking the team. Camps will say I'm not well, and he's going, no, you got to bloody play. Bates injured, so he's going to have to play. Tanto Alafi looks like he picked up a hamstring or groin injury, more of a precaution. Hopefully he's available. He's got to be available. As I say, who else is going to bloody pick? Horsfall looks a bad one, obviously. Lateral ankle, and I'd suggest that would be months rather than weeks, based on what it looks like and what his current situation is. That's what Chowan had to say on that one. Obviously, it looked awful. Whenever a player gets stretched off, but it's not just the fact he was stretched off. He was on the ground for what felt like 4, 5, 6 minutes, which, it didn't look great. So it does look like that is going to be potentially season ending. Does he come back this season? Is that an exaggeration? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not clued up on how long a lateral ankle would take, to be honest, but maybe some people in the comments know better than me on this one. But as I say, it didn't look great, and it certainly rules him out for the next month or two, in my opinion, at sort of minimum. Louis Barry, slight hamstring again, the same as Tanzo Alafi. He came off, and I don't know if anyone noticed at the end of the game, he sort of came over, said his goodbye to the fans. Does that mean that he knows, was he going to do it anyway with it being the final away game as a county player, or is that because he knows there's a good chance he might not get that moment at Edgeley Park on Wednesday? It's an interesting one, isn't it? Then sort of asked about sort of January business as well in the end of that sort of interview. I don't have the exact quotes, but he basically asked the question, with so many injuries, does it give County a good opportunity to dip into the market to maybe bolster the squad? And he kind of seemed to talk that down and say, well, not really. We would only really do business if we really had to. I think that's kind of the impression I got, which was a little bit disappointing, if I'm being honest, because I'm sort of looking at this window and I'm thinking we can attack this window if we try and recruit well, get some good players in, particularly with Louis Barry as well, when that he needs replacing. There's no doubt about that. With a bit of good recruitment, get us over the line. We could finish the season pretty strongly, but don't know what's going on there. Typically, we would probably look at doing business in January. We did it last time. We brought in Odin Bailey last year. I think it was Santo Laffi the year before that. I think even last season we brought in some loan players in January as well. So I'd be stunned if there was no business done, but it's just strange that Challoner didn't really seem to want to talk too much about business. And as I say, I got the impression that he was talking it down more than anything. So interesting to get your thoughts on that one. If anyone listened to it, did you have the same feeling as what I had? Interesting. Right now, let's get into the predicted 11. Then this is what I think Dave Challoner will go with. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it, to really understand. Unless you're in the building, you know what the situation is 100%. No one's going to get this right. So predicted 11, I think he'll go with that back three again. Obviously, Hinchcliffe in goal. Connolly, Hughes, and Ethan Pye is the back three. Ibi Toure and Kyle Noyle, I think he'll pick as the two wing backs. The only thing I would say about Noyle is I'm a little bit 50-50 because he did make his first start of the season yesterday. Will he go straight back to back games? I'm not sure. Then again, I'm surprised he didn't come off on Sunday as well, to be honest. So maybe he's up to fitness. Maybe Challoner will feel he can throw him in. I'm certainly expecting that because I don't think Southern Hales is a good idea down that right hand side for Birmingham. So I think Noyle and Toure will be the two wing backs which he'll look to go with. Obviously, with the absence of Lewis Bate in midfield, I think he'll pick with he's got to go with Callum Camps in my opinion. He should be available. I think he'll risk it. Oliver Norwood and Will Collar as that midfield three, with Will Collar slightly further ahead. Obviously, Horsfall's out. We know Bates out as well. Captain's armband is up for grabs. I think Oliver Norwood will probably take that captain's armband as well. So let me know your thoughts on that one if you're interested and bothered about who has the armband. Then I think he'll go with a front two with Santo Laffi and Cal Wotton. I just think he won't take any risks with Louis Barry. If there's an injury problem, hamstring problem for both him and Laffi, but he'll probably have noise from upstairs saying Louis Barry, he's going back tomorrow. Don't start him if he's got a hamstring problem. So his hand might be forced with that one to some extent. So that's the 11 which I think Challoner will go with. Here's the 11 that I would go with. Again, I have a bit more freedom with this because I don't know what the situation is in-house at Stockport County, but I would go with that back three, which I think Challoner will go with, and we have gone with most of the season, except I'm not going to go with Callum Connolly. What a surprise. I would go with Jay Mingy in that right side of centre-back position, alongside Sam Hughes and Ethan Pye. The same two wing-backs, Ibi Toure and Kyle Noyle. The same midfield three. In fact, no, it's not the same midfield three. It's two of the same midfield three in Camps and Norwood. But I've gone with Odin Bailey behind the striker over Will Collar. Interested him on that one. Just think he's come in, he's looked all right the last couple of games. He gives good energy. I'd put him in over Collar, who's not looked at his best. And you've got a hell of an option off the bench in Will Collar as well. So that's what I would go with. Controversial perhaps for some. And then I've gone with dropping Cal Wotton, who I thought wasn't great against Rotherham. To be honest, I'm surprised he wasn't the player which was subbed at half-time. But then, of course, if Santo did pick up a hamstring injury, you've got to manage that carefully. So my front two would actually be the two players which came off with hamstring injuries. I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that both of them will be okay to start. So that's what I would go with. The only problem with that, I suppose, is that are they going to run that defence ragged or run the hamstring, ragged? I'm not too sure, but that's the team I would go with. So let me know your thoughts on that one. What team do you think Stockport County should go with? The one which I think Challoner will go with, or the team that I would pick myself? Let me know your starting 11 in the comment section below as we approach this game against Birmingham on New Year's Day. And score prediction. Like I say, I never like to predict Stockport County to go into a game losing it. And even though my head's telling me we're probably going to lose this one, just because it's Birmingham, toughest team in the league, that we'll face all season. Injury crisis as well at the wrong time. Louis Barry going back at the wrong time as well. It just feels like it's going to be, our backs up against the wall. It's going to be a tough game. But I just think that my head's telling me we're going to lose. I'm not going to give a scoreline on what I think it'll be in my head, but my heart's going to say that we managed to get a point from this. In fact, you know what? I'm changing that. My heart's not telling me we're going to get a point. My heart's telling me we're going to win this game 2-1. And Louis Barry's going to go and score the winning goal. So that's what I'm going to go with. a 2-1 win for Stockport County against Birmingham on New Year's Day. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, of course. As always, don't forget to like the video, and also as well, just want to say, end of 2024, I want you to put your best moment in, as a Stockport County fan in 2024 in the comment section below as well. So yeah, do get a like in the video, do subscribe if you're not already as well, do get your thoughts in, and don't forget to check out the links in the description below as well, as always. And hopefully everyone's enjoyed 2024, and hopefully I'll see you in the next year for 2025. Thanks for watching.